here's my Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway 2 official breakdown predictions. And before we start this video, I just want to ask you guys this question. What do you guys rate this fight card in general? Like, I think this is a very exciting fight card, and I would rate it about an 8.5 out of 10. And this is really surprising because usually with Conor McGregor cards, they don't really put that much exciting or good fights because Conor McGregor is usually the selling point. But since now he hasn't fought in many years, they stacked the card a bit more to make it more entertaining, in which I do enjoy. By the main card, we have Bobby Green, aka King Green, versus Terrence McKinney. And personally, I think this is a very exciting card to start off the main card. These two fighters have very exciting fight styles that you know that they're going to stand up on the feet the whole fight. Another reason why I believe this is a very intriguing fight is because both of these guys are really chinny. Like, every time you see King Green in a fight, he's either the highlight or he is sparking out the guy in front of him. And low-key, same thing of Terrence McKinney. You know, he's had those fights with Conor, that last fight he won recently. And he's also a very much of a scrapper. We see most of his fights, you know, he's either knocking out or getting knocked out. But personally, my final prediction for this fight, I believe Terrence McKinney is going to win this fight. The way I believe this fight's going to go is I believe King Green is going to start off really fresh off the bat. He's going to look really good. He's going to keep his range. He's going to keep his hands down. And that's the reason why I think it's going to become the downfall of King Green. He always keeps his hands down. And I feel like when some sort of level caliber of fighters, you cannot do that. And if you look at his last two opponents, realistically, they weren't even UFC caliber. They were just like regional fighters who weren't even that good. And I think the level of competition that Terrence McKinney has been fighting recently, even with that break, I still believe is going to become more crucial and beneficial to what King Green has done. Lance Gibson Jr., bro, like, come on, don't tell me you know him anywhere. He's not even that good. Terrence McKinney is also coming off a KO win over Kyle Nelson, so I feel like his boost of momentum is going to become more beneficial than King Green's momentum. I think he's going to be overconfident. That's another thing I believe King Green is going to be. That's usually what happens, what I've noticed in his career. He usually gets a couple wins, and then he gets overconfident, and then he fights someone who realistically maybe he should have an edge or a better chance, and that's when he gets surprisingly clipped. Like, oh my god, I know this doesn't really mean much, but that knockout against Rufy, bro, that was horrible. He literally got his head spinned across, dude. He literally died on the canvas, dude. When I saw that, I was like, holy shit, dude. The UFC is fucking brutal, man. Even though I believe Terrence McKinney is going to win via KO, this is a winnable match for King Green, you know. Terrence McKinney is also the type of person who always thinks he wins the fight, and then he walks off, and then he fumbles the bag. But I believe with King Green, I think he's just going to land a punch and just go completely out. That's the thing I've been noticing that people don't take account when they're judging this fight. Bobby Green is like 40 years old, bro. He is unk, and he is definitely taking way more damage than Terrence McKinney. Even though they both have glass chins, I literally think Bobby Green can just get hit by like any strong and stiff jab and he'll go down. Like, it's the same case, in my opinion, with Israel Adesanya. I think his chin is so shit that he can't take as much shots as he used to be able to, and like just a simple hook that he could have taken back in the day, he cannot take now. And I believe it's a similar case with Bobby Green. So for this fight, my final prediction is going to be Terrence McKinney round 2 TKO. Or KO. No, not TKO. I think it's going to be a stiff jab, so KO. The next fight we have is Brandon Royval versus Lona Kavanaugh. And honestly, this is another fight where I disagree with what the majority of people are saying, in my opinion. Even the betting lines have Lona Kavanaugh as a favorite, which is honestly understandable because Brandon Royval got knocked out by Manel Kape. But personally, I still have Brandon Royval beating Lona Kavanaugh, and here's why. This is the thing. This is really crazy for me to pick Brandon Royval because he's on a 2-fight losing streak, and he has lost to Manel Kape and Joshua Van. But realistically, this is the thing, right? Even though he lost against Vaughn, if you rewatch that fight, he was realistically winning that fight until that last minute knockdown. Like, people don't talk about that enough, but he fumbled that fight so badly, bro. Like, it was an excitement enough to see how good that fight was and how skillful Joshua Van was. But literally, if he was more patient and just took him down, which he does, that's the thing I don't get with Brandon Royval. I don't know why he was so fixated on the feet, because he also goes for takedowns. And if Joshua Van, that's literally what you have to do. You have to fight smart and go for the takedowns. The thing is, now that I think about it now, Lona Kavanaugh does have a good takedown game, but I'm still gonna go Brandon Royval, bro. People forget, man. He beat Tyra. He also beat Moreno, and that's one of the things people are saying. People are giving Lona Kavanaugh credit just because he beat Moreno, but realistically, Brandon Royval has been a way better Brandon Moreno. Like, Brandon Moreno looked so slow and sloppy in that fight. In my opinion, Brandon Royval has also only gotten better. Like, he's also only improved, even though he went onto a late decision with Joshua Van. Which, this is the thing with Brandon Royval. If he doesn't mix up the fight in which he normally does, like, just watch his fight with Taduto Taira. He definitely mixed up the martial arts, and with Brandon Moreno, he went to the ground, and that's what you have to do with Lona Kavanaugh. You cannot get him comfortable enough to stand up on the feet with him. If I see Brandon Royval not shoot one takedown, I'm gonna actually cry. And this is the thing I want to point out too. I think Brandon Royval benefits more in firefights, in which the fight with Joshua Van, in which it was more of a back and forth fight, because that's what I think he excels in. And I don't think Lona Kavanaugh is gonna hit as hard as Brandon Royval. You know, if he couldn't finish Brandon Moreno, why do you think he's gonna finish Brandon Royval? And that's why I think Brandon Royval struggles more against. I believe he struggles against power punchers who don't let him give him space. You know, the one thing Lona Kavanaugh has to do is pace himself better, in which he has showed improvements in his fight with Brandon Moreno, because he did pace himself better. But at the same exact time, I feel like Brandon Moreno has drastically fallen off, in which I don't think that win is that impressive in this day and age. Like, I think when Brandon Royval fought him, he fought a way better version of Brandon Moreno. This is another reason why I think this fight's gonna be really exciting, is because both of these guys are really quick and fast starters. They're also really twitchy fighters, in which I think they're gonna react very quick to their punches. This is another thing that I forget to mention that people are probably going to point out in this video. One of the judges in that Brandon Royval fight and Joshua Van scored that 30-27, in which that judge needs to get fired and taken all their money away from, and their kids taken away from them, because no way you will saw that fight and judged it 30-27. Like, that fight was clearly 1-1 going into that third round. No way Joshua Van won that second round. But this is the thing. This is a fight where, even though I hate when people say, oh, it's a 50-50 fight. This fight has really good arguments for both sides, in which I believe both of these guys have a good argument for winning. I just think it goes down to whoever can conserve their energy more, because we have seen Lona Kavanaugh get knocked out by Charles Johnson in his last 3-round fight, in which this is another 3-round fight. So hopefully he can pace himself good, you know, in which I think Brandon Royval has gotten that more 3-round fight experience, in my opinion. And that's another reason why I think Brandon Royval is going to win this fight, is I believe he has more experience with different versatile model fighters, in which Lona Kavanaugh has realistically only fought 2 good fighters in his resume, in which are Charles Johnson and a washed version of Brandon Moreno. So give me Brandon Royval via 3rd round TKO. If you guys have liked the video so far, I hope you guys leave a like and subscribe. I am currently trying to get to 100 subscribers, and currently I'm at 59. So I really appreciate you guys, and I really do appreciate it when you guys leave comments and feedback on the video. Not only does it obviously boost it, I also want to know what improvements I need to make on the video. Like, for example, one of my earlier videos, I made the music really fucking loud, and someone commented that, and now I know to make the music lower. So, obviously, you guys help with better production of the video because obviously I need to edit and do other stuff. But yeah, thanks for everything. And yeah, just subscribe. And if you guys subscribe, maybe one day Chris Barnett will have an OnlyFans. And that's another reason for you guys to keep subscribed. Subscribe for Chris Barnett Spicy Pictures. The next fight we're going to be going to review is Mario Batista and Corey Sandhagen. This is an interesting matchup because initially, if this was based off the Mario Batista and Jose Aldo fight, I would have gave it to Corey Sandhagen. But now that he's improved his striking, I now believe that fight is the reason why I believe Mario Batista is going to win against Corey Sandhagen. Overall, obviously, I believe Corey Sandhagen is a better striker than Mario Batista. But I believe Mario Batista has better grappling and is better of mixing up his strikes. I think Corey Sandhagen's last fight against Merab, he got caught many times and Merab would try to fake a takedown and then go for striking. And that left him very wobbled in round 2, in which I believe Mario Batista is also really good at doing. Another thing to note is that when you analyze these guys' losses, for example, Mario Batista, when he lost against Umar, at least I believe he was trying to mix it up more. Like, he was trying to grapple with him, he was trying to strike with him. But with Corey Sandhagen, I just think when he's like down and losing a fight, I think he's literally comfortable with going and losing the decision because I don't think he tries hard to like change his game plan. I just think he's very game plan oriented and he sticks to whatever he does. In which Mario Batista, if he's losing on the feet, like for example his fight against Jose Aldo, he'll obviously go down and grapple. Like, he'll mix it up with him, in which I think Corey Sandhagen is not that good at mixing it up, in my opinion. And this is why I think Mario Batista has the edge against Corey Sandhagen. And another thing to point out too, which is really sad, this is kind of a diss to Corey Sandhagen. Even though I really like him and his fighting style is really entertaining, his best win is a washed Figueiredo, in which I feel like if Figueiredo's latest fights, he's literally been fighting just to get a paycheck. I literally see him go down and not even try to strike his opponents and just automatically go for like some weird submission like we're in BJJ1 and the UFC or something like that. So I think Mario Batista easily got this win. I think he's either gonna get a round 3 like unanimous decision. No, I would say split decision. I think Corey Sandhagen is good enough to at least get one round. Or he's going to mix it up enough where he's going to get a third round TKO, in which maybe Corey Sandhagen tries to chase the fight, in which he never really does. But I just think it's going to be too much for him, and I think Mario Batista easily gets this win. Another thing, guys, if you disagree with any of my opinions, please leave it in the comments below and tell me why. Don't just call me dumb, which I see some people do, and don't elaborate their thoughts. Call me dumb and explain why I'm dumb, so I can like either take in information, because I'm obviously a learning too, I'm not a stubborn fucker who doesn't take any other person's opinion. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think. I kind of want to rabble. For the co-main events, we have a very anticipating fight of Paddy Pimblett versus Benoit Saint Denis. Before I break down this fight, don't you guys just love it that it's a 5-round fight and not a 3-rounder? Because I hate when co-main events were 3-rounders, like for example when RDR and Kyle Burrell was a 3-round co-main event. Like, come on, you guys could have done better for that card. That card was honestly trash, and the fact that we had to watch that card was atrocious. And I have so much strong opinions about this co-main event just because I think Paddy Pimblett is one of the most overrated UFC stars of all time. Like, I swear he's only hyped up and popular just because he's English and he says, "Scousers don't get knocked out, lad." Like, imagine if he would have gotten knocked out against Justin Gaethje, his stock would have plummeted drastically, bro. Like, his stock would have dropped so badly that he would have had to fight Dan Hooker as his comeback fight, and obviously Dan Hooker is like the fucking punching bag of that division, bro. So it's like, damn, beating him is kind of like the equivalent of beating Dan Hooker in this day and age is like the equivalent of beating Figueiredo, like Wash Figueiredo, like not even trying Figueiredo, fat Figueiredo. And if you're even hating on Paddy Pimblett, like, this is the thing, right? I don't hate Paddy Pimblett. I hate more of the fans that overrate the guy. Like, what is one thing about him? What is his X factor? Like, usually when people have this much hype, they usually have an X factor or something that makes them stand out from the rest of the UFC crowd. Like, for example, Paddy Pimblett doesn't have the knockout power Ilia Topuria has. He doesn't have the wrestling of Hamza Chimaev where he can submit someone in the first round. Like, when was the last time he submitted a guy? Like, come on. Like, I'm pretty sure it was Bobby Green when he submitted. Did you submit him? I'm gonna double check that real quick. Yeah, it was literally Bobby Green was his last submission win. Like, even though this is Paddy Pimblett versus a BSD fight review, I think pointing out his resume is a very telling thing about this fight. Like, I'm gonna list you his last 4 fights. He beat Michael Chandler, which I believe he was ranked 9 at the time. And if you think about it now, I feel like Michael Chandler at that time wasn't even ranked fighter worthy. So the fact that he even got an interim title shot off a washed Michael Chandler is really crazy to me. And another thing to point out is he's also other wins are King Green, Tony Ferguson, and Jared Gordon, in which out of all those wins, he's only submitted Bobby Green. Like, think about it. He couldn't even finish a washed Tony Ferguson. Like, this wasn't even a good Tony Ferguson. A washed Tony Ferguson. And he definitely robbed Jared Gordon. Like, if you guys watched that fight, no one thought Paddy Pimblett won that fight. Everyone thought he lost. And everyone was booing him when he thought that it was an easy win at the fight. Like, everyone was like hating on him and shit like that. Something that I hate also about Paddy Pimblett is that so many people are giving him credit for losing to Justin Gaethje. Like, I've never seen a fighter who got so much credit for. I mean, the only reason why they're saying that is because Ilia Topuria obviously lost to Justin Gaethje. At the same exact time, your best feat cannot be losing to Justin Gaethje. Like, what are you now? Or is the Paddy Pimblett supporters becoming the new Ian Gary fans? Like, is that what's happening here? And if that's the case, that's really fucking sad. And the UK fan base need to, like, get their dicks up their ass or some shit like that. On the other hand, BSD is riding a 4-fight win streak against fighters like Prepelec, Mauricio Rufy, Beneil Dariush, and Dan Hooker. Even though I said that Dan Hooker was an easy win, I still believe Paddy Pimblett would still beat Dan Hooker, but I believe he would make it a harder fight than it has to be. And this is why I also think he will lose. A lot of fights that are easy for Paddy Pimblett, he makes it so hard for itself. So why would you think he would beat BSD? This might be like one of the goofiest fights you'll ever see too, because I believe both of their striking is really sloppy and bad. Like, if you watch the beginning of BSD against Beneil Dariush, he was so sloppy and he even got caught really badly. That's the only way I can see Paddy Pimblett winning this fight, is if he catches him really early on the first 2 rounds. If not, I think BSD is gonna just sludge fest Marab his way to a very boring split decision. It's gonna be a very close fight. That's what I believe. But I believe this fight is gonna evidently kill the hype of Paddy Pimblett. The thing is, for the UFC, you would want Paddy Pimblett to win, because if Paddy Pimblett wins, this is a route to fighting Ilia Topuria, and it would make a very interesting fight. Even if he wins, I don't get why people are saying he deserves a title shot. No, he doesn't. He does not deserve a title shot off beating Michael Chandler and maybe BSD if he wins. But if BSD wins, he will be on a 5-fight winning streak. And if it's a devastating fashion, you could make a good statement for him getting a title shot. But I believe my final prediction for this fight is going to be BSD round 5. Not round. I don't know why the fuck I said round. I'm a dumb fuck. But I think it's gonna go all 5 rounds, and I think he's gonna win by either unanimous decision or split decision. But I'm swinging more unanimous decision. And for the final fights, Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway 2. And let me know what you guys think about who's gonna win this fight in the comments. But for me, this is easily gonna go Max Holloway round 2 TKO. And this is like the one obvious thing we have to start off with why I think Max is gonna win. Conor's been on a big ass layoff. And with that big of a layoff, Max Holloway cannot beat your comeback fight, you know. The last time that Conor had a big layoff, he fought a very approachable matchup, which was Donald Cerrone. But with Max Holloway, he is not an old vet in which you cannot tune up with him to fight. And this is the thing you have to point out too, which doesn't also help Conor. He has never had the best stamina in his career. So the fact that he's moving up also in trying to fight Max Holloway, which is known for having this good stamina, then that's going to be a difficult fight for Conor. I think the obvious key to victories for Max Holloway in this fight is to obviously go for the leg kicks, because that's where I think Conor is really weak against. And obviously in his last fight with Dustin Poirier, he did break his leg, so he is fighting off a surgery. That's another thing that people don't take account into this fight. He literally had a surgery, and he's also coming off a huge layoff, so that's another reason why I believe Conor McGregor is really cooked in this fight. Like, even for Max, I also think going for body shots would also be effective, because obviously if Conor's really bad cardio, it's going to really work. Obviously with a 5-round fight, which is another downfall for Conor, because I believe he was also, rumors are going around that he was also pushing for a 3-rounder, so that also proves I believe Conor isn't even that confident in his cardio ability. But on the other hand, for Conor, in my opinion, his keys to victory is to just go balls to the wall in the first round. Like, realistically, if Conor doesn't get him out in the first round, I cannot see a possible way of him winning. And another way he could possibly win this fight, as he did in the first fight with Conor, no, not Conor, with Max, he pushed Max against the cage and used his grappling. But I believe that Max's grappling has improved enough in which he can withstand Conor. Even though his last fight, he did get stuffed by Charles Oliveira. And honestly, with this huge layoff that Conor's having, do you really believe that he's going to be doing grappling work? Like, I just can't see that. You know, I just can't see Conor McGregor having the stamina to out-grapple Max Holloway for 5 rounds, or to even knock him out within the first round. Like, if it's not the first round, there's no way Conor McGregor's winning this fight. Like, you know, Conor has no chance when even his biggest fans say that he has no chance. I believe all the people that even say that he's going to win this fight all say that it has to be from a lucky miracle punch or something like that. But yeah, guys, that's basically my UFC 329 final predictions. And I want you guys to let me know what you guys think. And if you think I have any bad takes or bad predictions about this fight card, let me know in the comments. You know, I am a new up-and-comer UFC person, so I'm probably going to be brain dead at some of my takes. But this is just what I see, what I watch, and what I personally believe. So yeah, thank you guys for 59 subscribers. We gained 1 subscriber from the last video. We're getting out the hood with this one. But yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.